After this video, you will be able to spin bounce on your enemies, cause this movement guide covers every single movement tech, even the ones that were memes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my long-awaited movement guide on how to be a movement monkey in Apex Legends. And make sure to stick to the end, because at the end we will look over common issues and common problems when learning movement tech. Let's be honest, you don't want to miss that, because it's gonna make your life way easier and it's gonna allow you to get the movement tech down way before your friends. So make sure to stick around to the end. Alright, first movement tech is slide jumping. Slide jumping is going to allow you to rotate over the map way easier, way faster, and it's a pretty simple tech you should get down. If you look at me, it's faster than sprinting, and you can combine it into other movement tech, and this is why you want to get it down. So first, what you want to do is you want to have a crouch and jump. You input these in a certain time frame so you get a speed boost out of it. It's a pretty easy timing, just try around, and with time you'll be able to chain them after each other pretty quick, so you can rotate that with max speed. We're gonna get to the next one, and this is redirecting and Tapstrafing. So first of all, I will go over redirecting over here since we have a good corner to look at it. So redirecting is the mechanic of redirecting mid-air without Tapstrafing. So only WASD. I can give you an example. So if I wanted to go around this corner, I turn around with WASD to redirect like this. You can do like, there's different variations. You can also do it to the right side. The most efficient way for me to do it is do WASD, all buttons. So if you're going to the right, I'll input WASD real quick. And it's gonna allow us to do a spin, because if I would do this like normally, I would never get able to get that quick of a turn midair. Redirects are pretty important because you can use it later for the Lurchstrafes and stuff, and you're familiar with pressing WASD or in another order in a pretty quick way. So you can use that for Lurchstrafing later. Now, if we look at Tapstrafing, it also let us redirect, but it's way easier. So what this is gonna allow us to do, we need to jump, then put in the scroll wheel input we bounded earlier. So jump and then scroll wheel around the corner to get the Tapstrafe. And the only thing we had to input midair was A, in this example to go left, and scroll wheel to Tapstrafe around it. Because with scroll wheel, you can do like this, you can do 90-degree turns, you can do 180-degree turns, you can even do up to 360-degree turns. Takes some practice though, so don't get mad if you don't get it down first time. But Tapstrafing is a huge thing to add to your movement collection, because you can throw it around your hitbox like a crazy madman with whatever movement tech you want. You can do it with a wall bounce, you can do it with a Superglide, you can do it with a Mantlejump. Whatever movement tech you're thinking of, probably going to be compatible with Tapstrafes. Next up is wall bouncing. Wall bouncing, there's a lot of different variations to wall bouncing. So first up, you got the slide jump wall bounce like this. What you want to look at when wall bouncing, really important, is that when you hit the wall, you input your scroll wheel jump. So whatever it is, scroll wheel up or scroll wheel down, as soon as you hit the wall, you're gonna input that. And you want to input a sideways input, A or D. This is gonna allow me to wall bounce of a lower object like this, because if I would not input A or D, it would end like this and it would get stuck on the ledge. And it also gets you more momentum out of the wall bounce. You will realize over time that this is the case. So back to the wall bounces, we had the slide jump wall bounce. That is our first simple wall bounce. Next up is the quick slide wall bounce. So what you want to do is you do a slide jump like this, but you kind of cancel it with a jump, and it should look something like this. It's shaking your camera really weird, and this allows you to do a same wall bounce as before, but not having to do the whole slide thingy. So you can input, like if you're fighting, you can input it way quicker instead of having to walk away, do a slide jump or whatever it is. This is what quick sliding is good for. You can also combine it with a door like this, This was a quick slide wall bounce. Alright, next up is gonna be the fatigue wall bounce. Fatigue wall bouncing uses the tech of jump fatigue. So your first jump is as normal, the one you're doing is gonna get high up to this line, right? So if I jump, my head gets on this height. But if I chain a lot of jump after each other, you get a jump fatigue. This is a jump fatigue state. And this state lets you wall bounce right off the bat. So what you can do is you can run up to a wall, have a jump, and then do a wall bounce. And trust me, fatigue wall bouncing is going to open new doors in movement. For example, if you fall down somewhere, you can immediately go up because you have the fatigue from jumping down, and then you can go up again. Last but not least, we have the most advanced wall bouncing. Me personally, I don't use it at all, but it's nice to know because I want to do a full movement guide on every movement tech. So it's a no slide wall bounce where just jump and do a wall bounce like this. So this only works because you have to be in your arch, like you have your jump arch when you go up and you go down again, right? When you jump like this. And what you need to consider is while you're going up, you don't want to hit the wall yet. You want to hit it when you fall down. But only for this wall bounce. For all the others, it's the other way around. It's like this. You want to hit the wall while falling down, like this. And only if you hit it while falling down at a certain spot, you will be able to do a no slide wall bounce. Next up is my favorite one. It's Spinbouncing. This lets you get on top of an object, on whatever, and lets you keep the momentum. So if I slide jump into it, I can take that momentum in a 360 Tapstrafe and get up on the wall. So this is pretty sick. Spin bouncing is also one of my signature moves, so I use that a lot. You can combine it with a fatigue wall bounce, you can do it with a slide jump, you can do it with whatever wall bounce you want. Lets you keep the momentum out of it, and on top of that, it throws your character around, your hitbox, and also looks pretty sick in a third person. Alright, next up we're gonna look at Superglides. Superglides is the mechanic of getting a huge boost while mantling a ledge. That should look something like this. So we cleared the gap, for example, over here if you want to practice it. You can also do like sideways superglides, diagonal superglides, backward superglides. There's different variations to it. Now the question, how do we do them? So what we want to do is when we mantle the ledge like this, at a certain point we want to input, jump, and crouch. So whatever you have crouch binded on, I would recommend you to bind on C or V, so you are able to input on your keyboard the two buttons with one finger. So when you mantle, you can just press one finger down at the right angle at the right time, and you'll get it, and you'll get a Superglide. It's gonna take some practice, trust me. Superglide is probably the movement tech that took me the most time to learn, but it's definitely worth it. For example, you can also combine it with a Tapstrafe. I like to do it at the beginning of my Lurchstrafes, as you saw maybe in the beginning, like this, because it's gonna allow you to get so much momentum out of nowhere, and you can keep the momentum into other movement tech. Movement at the end of the day is just the ability to keep your momentum all the time. On top of that, you want to input your momentum as unpredictable as possible for the enemy. For super jumping, you want to interact and jump as quick as possible, and you'll be able to get all the way up here. And to gain some extra height, you want to make sure that when you grab the zipline, you look up as far as possible, so you already grab the zipline higher on the zipline, so you get more height already when you grab it. Now the Elitejump is a super jump, but spinning 180 degree in between the input of interacting with it and jumping off of it. So you have a certain time span in between your interaction and your jump where you want to turn your view 180 degree, and it should look something like this. It's going to be really quick. First off, you want to get your timing on the interact and the jump, because you want to be able to get those as far as possible but still get a super jump. So to practice, you want to interact, jump, but as fast as needed, but not too quick, so you can still input your 180 so you can turn to the other direction, because it's pretty strong and pretty good to chew your enemies. Next up is probably my favorite movement tech. It's Mantlejumping. You can either Mantlejump by looking down or looking up like this. There's also a different variation to Mantlejumps where you Mantlejump on horizontal ziplines like that, and you can chain it into pretty awesome stuff. The only difference is though that you get sent straight up. To learn your Mantlejumps, I would recommend you to come over here. This is actually the best spot for Mantlejumping. There's different ways to learn them. What I recommend is getting each step down one by one. So you want to learn them slowly, easily, and then get up, ramp up your speed with the Mantlejump. So first step is going to be just jumping off the zipline and mantling over here. I'm not pressing anything, I'm just in a standstill. So what you want to do next, you press interact already. It does nothing happens here. You just press interact already, and then you look up and press W and S really fast like this. So you interact with the zip. What you want to do next is doing the super jump. So to Mantlejump, you already need to get down your super jump, because without super jumping, you will not Mantlejump. That's the truth. So again, first you go into a mantle, look up or down, already press interact, then tap W, press S, and do the super jump. And with time you can get it more, how should I say it, fluently. And with time you should even be able to tap strafe out of it like this. I just did a 180 tap strafe after my Mantlejump. There's a few different ways to Mantlejump, but personally I recommend to everyone to input S for Mantlejumping. You can also input crouch, in my case shift, or you can do one that is not really popular. I use it now and then and it's kind of niche. You can dismantle the ledge by looking to the left and right and pressing A or D at the same time. So when I mantle, I can press A, or I can look to the left and press A to dismantle. And you can also use that on the right side, obviously. And you can use that for your Mantlejumps like this. This is good if you have to go around corners, especially useful on previous Mantlejump map. Pretty niche and not a lot of people know about it. So if you're one of the people who get that down, props to you. So last but not least is probably the most advanced movement tech, Lurchstrafing. So what you want to do, you want to get down your timing. What I like to recommend to my viewers, first just get the dry inputs of inputting WASD and WDSA. So if you can see on my keyboard overlay next to my hand cam, I'm just inputting WASD to get the feeling of touching those buttons, and you can try to do it faster and faster so you can use it later on. And to actually implement it with your strafe, you're gonna have to input A or D to go sideways. So let's say I'm gonna go A. So what I have to input here is I'm gonna have to put WASD when I go to the left. So I jump WASD and then I go back to the right. So you input WASD, and meanwhile you are scrolling first to jump and then to tap strafe. So you're jumping and then tap strafing back. So what you want to do is you walk sideways, jump, tap strafe, and press WASD really quick. This also goes to the other side where you press WDSA. You can either do it out of a standstill into a crouch, or you can do it from a slide jump. Whatever you want. But what you want to do is you want to chain them like this. That's how you start chaining them. You crouch, and over time you will realize I lose a lot of momentum because I'm sliding way too long. And with time, what you want to do is you want to ramp up your speed. So you're gonna start doing it faster and faster. until you get the timing down. And also you don't want to input or do those lurch strafes every time after each other, because with time you're gonna lose momentum either way. So what you want to do is you want to implement another bunny hop or do something else, do a wall bounce or whatever it is. And also what's recommendable is using a character that has a certain speed boost. For example, Octane. If I do it like that, it's way easier for me to keep up the momentum. I'm gonna lose it over time, but still I was able to contain it for a way longer time. And with slopes and everything, you even can get some more speed, and it's gonna allow you to give more speed out of it. So next up is Pitostrafing. For Pitostrafing, what you want to do, I'm gonna show you in slow-mo so you can get it down one by one. You want to input AWD and then go back WA and then go to WD, WA, WD, WA, and so on. And you want to input that with time, you want to input that faster and faster, because you will do that while bunny hop. It's the same like Lurchstrafing. You want to start slow and then increase your speed to keep the momentum. And also what I can recommend to practice is when you do your bunny hop like this with your scroll wheel, wow, I messed it up, never mind. You want to implement every time you touch the ground, you want to press W. So what this allows you to do, it's gonna give you the timing to when press your W key. Because with time, you have to implement A or D in between every time you press W. So you always, as explained earlier, you press W, then D, W, A, W, D, W, A. And you do that while bunny hopping, so it will look something like that. So really important, what you want to do, every time you press W, you scroll up, and every time you press A or D, you're gonna Tapstrafe around. And all in all, with a speed boost, it should look something like this. It was not the clearest one, but it was okay. So there's probably a few of you wondering, what bonus movement tech is Erase talking about? And let me tell you, there was a movement tech that got removed out of the game back in the day. And by adding Revenant, they put it back into the game by accident. And I think Respawn still doesn't know. And there's only a few people that about the movement tech. And now if you're wondering what the actual movement tech is, the movement tech is called Glideskipping. No, on a serious note, I want to talk about Glideskipping. Glideskipping is not an actual movement tech to the nerds out there that still don't know. Glideskipping started as a joke with my friend. We started inventing just random movement tech, like the most random stuff ever. And at one point, it got to a point where I took a video of a Superglide on low gravity and sent it to him on Discord.
They said I can't find new movement. Here I am, presenting you Glideskipping. Check my Twitch. I will upload a clip of me explaining it soon. Enjoy.
Yeah, and first he texted me back and was like, whoa, that looks so realistic and stuff, because he knew it's not a real movement tech. And we were thinking, how many people could we fool with this? How many people would actually fall for it? Because there was actually a thing where you could do the low gravity glitch in TDM. So I wanted to also get some clips with it, because it actually was in the game. It just used the low gravity glitch and the Superglide, and it just kind of made it look snappier with the flick. If you have any questions about movement tech, something movement related, or general in-game stuff, I'm most of the time live on Twitch streaming, and feel free to ask either questions in the comments. I'll try to answer every single question I see, or just come in my Twitch live stream and ask me there. So until then, have a great time, keep practicing, and eat your bananas, movement monkeys.